Well, I'm back here with another former Alabama player, Gunnar Raborn. I'm excited to dive into your story, man.
Yes.
This is it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be light. So, before I kind of jump into it, I kind of like to give a little highlight of you before we get going. So, Gunnar was a place kicker for Alabama. Transferred from Alabama to McNeese State. He's from Louisiana, so he grew up a big LSU fan. So we were just talking a little bit, trying to figure out how did he transition over to Alabama after wearing that purple and gold for so long. A 92% field goal percentage.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty strong, man.
Yes,
pretty
sir.
strong. Then you went on, you kicked the 52-yard field goal, became an All-American, a second-team All-American. And then you went on and you earned all Southern Conference at Louisiana and All-American honors. Welcome to the Intangible Podcast, my friend.
Thank you. It's honestly an opportunity to be invited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, we're gonna jump in here, man. I what I like to start is kind of like when we talking about intangibles. Truly believe that our intangibles are developed in our environment, how we grew up. We've as a former guy, you can kind of look back hindsight and you can really see where it comes from. But now we're in an era where these intangibles are way more important than they were back then, because back then you bring a kid in, if it didn't fit your culture, you could move on from and bring another kid in and replace them. But now that NIL, transfer portal, all that money has gotten so big that a lot of schools and a lot of colleges now are really diving deeper into the character aspect of it. Do you fit the culture? So if I'm paying a guy a certain kind of money, I need to make sure my culture is right to handle it. So where I like to start is we're going to go back to your upbringing, man. I want you to take me back to growing up in Louisiana. What was that like, your home life, and also just kind of that thing that set you on this trajectory to be a place kicker.
It's just crazy, the NIL deal now. Like, just to bring back that topic, like, for example, when I was a freshman at Alabama, Marlon Humphrey was my class. Mm-hmm. He didn't start till his sophomore, junior year. He was only on special teams. Now, those backups are gone. Yeah, right.
Well, that's what's happened now is that the depth, the Alabamas, the Georgias can create a lot of depth because your goal as an athlete was, I want to get to the next level. And so I'm going to put myself in a place where I can do that.
Exactly.
And playing under Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, guys like that, you got a chance if you come in and you just put your head down and work. And so now with NIL, it's broken up all of that depth. So as an SEC guy who get into these arguments all the time about SEC is never going to be the SEC again, it's 3 years running now that we haven't.
I know, it's hard to hear.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It really is. So anyway, take us back.
So born in Lafayette, Louisiana, 1995. I played all three sports: football, baseball, soccer. I remember I was huge into pitching growing up. I thought I was going to be an MLB pitcher. Pitching to my dad in the backyard. He would sit on a white bucket for hours.
You just sit there and catch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great memories, though.
Great memories. Yeah. Great memories. Playing soccer my whole life. Started playing football 7th grade.
Okay.
And I played all positions. I was a quarterback, a receiver. I really loved Mike linebacker. You
don't get that from kickers.
No,
man.
you don't.
Who like to hit people.
You don't. I train one in Indiana now. He's a UFC fighter, and he's a linebacker. He's going to be a dog.
Wow.
He's going to be a dog.
He's a kicker.
Mm-hmm. He's a kicker and punter now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So grew up, pretty cool story. I didn't start kicking until my junior year.
Wow.
So we're in the back of the end zone just watching the freshman game, and we're just throwing the football around, right? So we're just playing around. So I'm just kicking the ball, just kicking it back to the people. They're just playing jackpot, if you remember that game.
Yeah.
So Coach Tidwell, defensive coordinator, walks up to me. He says, I'm going to put you in on punt this game. I was like, okay, cool. So first punt ever was a 55-yarder. And then Coach Jim Hightower walks up. He says, son, do you just want to kick and punt? I'm like, sure, let's do it. And that's how I started kicking and punting.
Playing jackpot.
Yep.
And you get thrown in the fire.
Yep.
But would you say that, you said you play soccer, like, because I feel like a lot of guys who play soccer are really good at it. That,
Yeah.
if they have the passion for it, if they have the mental mindset for it. Like Steven Gazowski, he was my high school kicker. Played in New England, Super Bowls and all that.
He's pretty good.
He was a phenomenal soccer player and a phenomenal baseball player. And just happened to, coach said, hey, we need a kicker, and brought him in, and he started kicking off. And I mean, every kick was in the back of the end zone. You're like,
Athlete.
Unbelievable athlete.
Yeah. I feel like the best kickers are the ones that played multiple sports,
Yeah.
So that's what I try to get these kids. I'm trying to train as young as fourth graders because I'm trying to get them to play as many sports as you can,
Yeah. Which is becoming very hard.
Yeah.
Because of the specialization of.
I was about to say, there's people trying to kick in fourth grade. I didn't try to kick until junior high school.
Do you think that served you kicking later in life versus kicking early? Tell me why.
I think it helped me waiting. For example, like me playing Mike linebacker, like I would have never done that if I started kicking in fourth grade. I would only have the mindset of kicking.
You build a different mentality, which
exactly.
then helps you
that's what I'm
handle
getting
that
at.
kind of pressure. So
you build a dog mentality, like the winning. You want the whole point of a sport is to win that game.
Yeah.
You want to win,
right? What mentality did you take to that position once you decided this is what I'm going to do, punt and kick?
Most kickers, and that's what I'm really big into, is training the mindset. Because, kicking, there's only so much of a level that you're good at, but it's 95% mental in kicking.
Yeah.
When I go to Alabama, I'm a preferred walk-on. I don't go until May, and I work out with the team. I don't get invited to fall camp. So my first practice is week 1. So week 1 goes by, and first few practices, and I'm like, we're just sitting on the field. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I'm trying to get better. Yeah. So I go on my own, kicking on my own, working on getting better. Week 4 comes. They put me in, take that back. Week 3 comes. They put me in like a short field goal, just in practice, 1 field goal as like the backup. And week 4 comes. They put me in another field goal. Week 5 comes. They put me in 2 short field goals. And then week 7 comes, first dress. I dress out against Tennessee. So I started dressing out for the home games. Well, the last home game is the Iron Bowl. And the year before I went, I was at prom, senior prom in high school. I'm watching at the prom the Iron Bowl when the kick six happened. I'm literally at prom watching that. Next year, here comes me dressing out. We're at the Iron Bowl. I'm the backup kicker, so I'm kicking on sticks.
Right.
Like hold them, so I don't get the live snap and hold. So I'm doing that pregame. We run into the tunnel right before we run out to play the game. Still remember it to this day. 5 minutes and 38 seconds left. Coach Saban walks up to me. He says, "Son, you're starting." I said, "Yes, sir." He turns around. He walks, takes like 3 or 4 steps, walks back, comes back to me, and he says 5 words, which changed my whole mindset. He said, "Son, pressure is a privilege." And that made me think a lot. Because being a kicker, like that's what I was bringing up back in high school. I was huge into I thought it was awesome having the most points on the team. In high school, I was nervous though, like being called on.
Right.
When Saban told me that, though, that changed my whole mindset. Because why am I nervous to be called on? I want to make a name for myself, right? Of course. So I should be itching at the bit to be getting that kick,
Right.
So that changed my whole mindset.
Man, that's cool, man. Because it's also that belief too. Oh, he believes in me.
It's true.
And so, but I always think like the games you talk about these points, the game always come down. Most of these games come down to the kicker.
You got to want that pressure.
Yeah.
It's like when you go up a roller coaster, when you're right at the top.
Yeah.
Right when you go down that heart drop.
Yeah.
That's that feeling. I love that feeling. I love it.
Never heard it described that way.
Yeah, that's how I think about it.
How does that not? When you get to that and that heart drops, how do you balance it? How do you balance the nerves to be able to do your job without the
confidence?
Yeah.
Confidence. So I tell my kickers right before you kick, game day, I want you thinking 2 things only. 2 things. Eyes back, and I'm about to make this kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make blank kick.
So let's go back. So back in high school, you say you was nervous. How did you start to develop that toughness mindset to handle that pressure? Because like I said, a lot of these kicks come down to the kicker, and
players encouraging me.
You know, and if you miss one, you know, how do you handle it versus making it?
I think team is such a huge part because, you know, I've been on a team where you miss a kick, they kind of get on to you. Coach screams at you. Where I've been on a team where they're encouraging. They think you're best kicker they've ever had, confidence in the world. Man, that helps tremendously, yeah. I think.
You become the number 1 kicker in the state of Louisiana. Now you're in this recruiting process, and you know, how do you narrow down, you know, what's the right fit for you? Because as a lineman, as a receiver, you're trying to figure out, what kind of offense do I fit into? What kind of if you're a defensive guy, what kind of defense do I fit into the best? You know, from a kicking standpoint, how does does it really matter, or is
that's
it just,
what I'm getting at? Like for your kickers and punters, like you competing against yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you go to school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You just need the opportunity to compete.
You just need a foot in the door.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, I just started to think about that. It's like, man, I knew if I go to, I knew what kind of offense Ole Miss ran. I knew like what my skill set was. This okay, this plugs in, you know. So I'm paying attention to all these different things because, you know, you don't know, especially when you're in high school, you only run 3 or 4 plays. Like,
you get into college, you're like,
right. Now you got a playbook like this.
This is a business.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I would assume the holder, you know, if you're a snapper, like making sure you got a good snapper. Maybe that's a thing that you
got to work with them every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. You know, back in high school, you know, usually the holder's a quarterback.
Right.
You know? So after every practice, I had to drag his butt just to get 10 kicks a day. That's all I did, just 10 kicks. But hey, that led, you know, to us kicking game-winning field goals, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So you make this transition from Alabama to McNeese State. Like, what went in that process of transferring from Alabama to?
Back then, you couldn't transfer to any future opponent, right? For Alabama, you couldn't go to any SEC school or any future opponent for the next 3 years. That was the rule for Coach Saban.
That was his rule. Okay, because
yes,
I didn't realize that was a rule.
That was his rule. Yeah. So went back home to McNeese State. Coach Lance Guidry was the head coach. He really loved me. Matt Viatar was the head coach before him, who was the head coach at ULM at the time. I was thinking about going to ULM. I decided to go to McNeese State instead. Coach Ed Ogeron's sons were going in at the same time as me. So I grew up best friends with the Ogeron boys. So they played football when Coach Ed was the head coach at LSU.
So you were around him.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is you can give me a good Coach O impersonation. You got to give me one.
Show me the dope. Go Tigers. That's how he really talks.
I know.
He really talks.
I know. When I was leaving,
he's the best recruiter.
Unbelievable.
Best recruiter.
Unbelievable.
He's the best recruiter.
Yeah. I remember he was there. He became the head coach at Ole Miss when I was leaving. And I was supposed to be back. Another year. And I remember he called me. He's like, "Listen here, son. Check this out. I know all these guys. You're not going to be a first round center. You'd be lucky to go to 5th round." And so I was like,
he said that.
Yeah, I was like, all right, coach, I appreciate it. And went on and became a first round.
26 pick.
Went on and became a first round, and I went back, and he was like, "Hey, you know I got to do what I got to do. I'm trying to keep you. You're a good player." So,
that's so funny.
Yeah. So you go to McNeese State. I mean, I guess my question in this is what.
I wanted the opportunity to play.
Okay, that's what I say. Why leave Alabama?
I wanted the opportunity to play. Yeah. I was like, I got a ring. I'm good. I got some playing time in Alabama.
Yeah.
It's time to actually make a name for myself. So I took the risk on myself.
Yeah. So what was the transition like going from
SEC to
McNeese State? Like
huge difference.
Yeah.
You know, like Alabama, you know, you're like Coach Cochran, Scott Cochran would say, he was our strength coach at Alabama. He would say, y'all are Corvettes y'all are Ferraris. I'm just putting spinners on y'all. I mean, we had fillets, breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Alabama. So McNeese State, our pregame was at Ryan's. Ryan's buffet, if you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So culture shock a little bit.
Yeah.
Close to family though.
Yeah.
You know.
Did that require you to do more of your own self?
Yes. That required me way more discipline and work ethic. Being at Alabama has taught me so much. We would work out at like 5:30 in the morning, you know, do our cold tub, hot tub, go to class, eat breakfast, blah, 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 and then come back for lunch for meetings and practice. So after practice, it's late. Everybody's tired, right? Well, after practice, there's about a few 12 people around that go work out after practice. Well, those 12, including Derrick Henry, were about first-round draft picks. So it taught me work ethic.
Yeah.
Realizing you have to put in the work.
Right.
You know, nothing's given to you.
Right. You can't you just can't do the bare minimum. You can't do
the bare minimum.
What your strength coach laid out for you, you got to do more, you know.
Got to do more.
Because there's a lot of guys training hard right now to take that spot.
1,000%.
What do people misunderstand about being a kicker?
The mental aspect. Fans, they don't see the kicker on the sideline pacing back and forth, waiting for his time, because you only get that one chance.
The best kickers that I've been around was guys who were able to really, you could tell that they were talking to themselves, and then but was also had the ability to really connect with players, and those players were continuing to like encourage them, you know, because you need to make sure your kicker is mentally tough, and so that encouragement is really helpful for, I mean, just all players, but especially for that position.
Kickers is a huge necessity in building a team together, you know. Right. Kicker's always a little interesting, you know. You got to have that piece, you know.
We're going to take a quick pause, and we're going to do a quick 2 minutes, some rapid fire questions for you.
Come on.
All right, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Longest kick you ever hit in practice?
65.
65.
Yeah.
Longest kick you ever hit in a game?
52 at Lamar. 52, 53. It depends who counting, because it was at the 52 and a half.
Okay. Give it all. I'm going to count it all.
2 seconds left before halftime. That was one of the coolest moments. I got so excited. I threw up, fist pumped. I got so excited after the kick, getting on the sideline, I threw up. I'm not kidding. It was freezing cold outside, so you know when you get really, really excited, overheat.
That's awesome. What's harder mentally, PAT or field goals?
I like the PATs because it was like a warm up to me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, warming up to get into that good rhythm when I get in a field goal.
Yeah.
I'd much rather get a PAT first than a field goal.
Yeah.
But you can't have that mindset, man.
Yeah.
Can't have that mindset going in.
All right. Favorite stadium you ever kicked in?
Alabama. I can't say LSU, but it's a toss-up, man. Yeah. It really is a toss-up.
Yeah. I mean,
because I grew up at LSU.
Yeah. Death Valley is still one of my favorite places to play. So
it's different, man. Louisiana Saturday night is different.
Yeah, it is. It is. Night game. We always play night games there too. So, all right. One song that calms you down before game starts.
Oh, Wild and Loose.
Wild and Loose.
What time is it? My dad was a huge funk fan. So I'm a 70s. I'm a big 70s. I was born in the wrong time.
What did you hate the most? Wind or distance?
Wind. Wind. I didn't realize it until I played in the SEC. Man, those stadiums, when the wind goes into SEC Stadium, it's not, there's no north, south, east, or west. It wraps them like a whirlwind.
Yeah, swirls.
So, man, it took a lot of time to get used to be completely honest.
Yeah. How do you adjust to wind? Like, that's not coming straight at you or behind you. How do you adjust to that?
Know the ball goes in. Don't watch and hope. So that's what I tell my kickers all the time.
There's no like no
Trust.
adjustment to your, none of that. You still keyed in on the exact same steps, all that, no matter what.
Every kick's the same kick.
All right. One habit that made you consistent.
Mindset.
Mindset.
Wanting that kick.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Yeah. Miss or make? What sticks longer?
I miss. I remember those block kicks, but some of those I made a lot of field goals. I don't remember all those field goals I made.
Yeah.
But you remember those misses though.
You went to McNeese State and you were 92% accurate, had 92% accuracy in the field goal. What was that? What was your mental approach each year to stay that consistent?
Usually before a game, you're excited. You're here. Mm-hmm. Well, I learned the lower I got, the more calmer I was. Mm-hmm. The more smoother, fluid, more in tune.
Right.
If that makes sense. Right. So I learned to basically have fun.
Yeah.
Like, this is a game.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there a moment before a kick where you're the calmest?
Right before I kick it. So I tell my kickers, you pick a target, right? Pick a target right before you take your steps. And I only want you looking up 2 times. Only looking up twice. When you take your back step, when you take that third step back, you look up at your target, take your 2 side steps. You get ready, you look up one more time, and then I'm about to make this kick. And then you nod to your holder. That's like the most calmest I think I am, is right then and there.
Mm. With all these people yelling and screaming and
that pitching, that we get into, playing everything, I think helped me tremendously. Waiting to kick till junior year, because I was big into pitching, like I brought up in the past. My dad was huge into tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. Tunnel vision. The only thing I saw was that mitt. That's the only thing I ever saw.
So you didn't hear the crowd. You didn't.
Nothing. I black out everything. Everything. Because what's the kicker's job? To make the kick, right?
You got to get it through.
So the kicker shouldn't be worried about if the holder is going to hold it right, or the snapper is going to snap it right, or is the lineman going to block that edge rusher. Yeah. That's not your job.
Right.
Your job's to make the kick.
Right.
So I black out everything.
Yeah.
I don't even listen to the holder. I just look at his fingers. I don't even hear what the holder's saying.
Yeah. So,
unless we do a fake, of course.
Yeah. As a kicker, because it's such a high pressure position, how do you handle the failures? Like, what is that self-talk? What is that mindset? How do you get back to work when you do, have some failures? Because it will happen. It does happen.
I was 12 for 12 going in, and then I get a blocked kick. I was thinking I'm going to go perfect this whole season, and then it happens. And then it's so hard, but you got to just really, there's nothing you can do about it. And that's so hard to wrap your head around. Mm-hmm. But once you get that stuck in your head, that yesterday was history.
Yeah. Well, we always talk about on this show, guys who've played and the guys who've made these transitions, transition out. How has the transition for you been? Our identity does get wrapped up into sports and who we are and things like that. How did you transition out, and how did you break that hold that football and sports had on you to go do other things in life?
I'm glad you asked that. Coach Saban was huge into helping us think of there's something after football. Mm. It's not just football. You're going to have, so he prepared us a lot for that. He would have a lot of speakers come talk to us. He even had Michael Phelps come talk to us. Yeah. He had Jamie Foxx come talk to us one time. But he would make you think about, no matter what you're in life, you're still just like what helps kids play. I think playing sports helps tremendously in any kind of for future,
right.
Because you got to think of, for example, me in real estate, and what helped me grow in real estate was acting like me, being on the Alabama football team, going to workout every morning, putting in the work. It's just the same mindset as playing a game, getting ready, getting better. Take that into the next opportunity you have in life,
Yeah. Creating a routine, a process.
And that's what I learned so much with Coach Saban is you got to have a process.
Yeah.
You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah. How did you start that process and lean into real estate and then also coaching and mentoring kids?
So my passion is coaching kids, kicking and coaching kids. So when I was at Alabama, I started kicking, training with one-on-one kicking. And then so being at Alabama, I got to help train young kids. Mm-hmm. And man, I just fell in love with it. I love helping kids out, and that's my passion. My end goal is to only do that.
Right.
And it helped me still be involved, because I love sports.
Yeah.
I love sports. I want to die with a football in my casket.
It's hard to give it up, man. It's hard to give it up.
I'm not giving it up. And so I did that. I've been doing it for 7 years. Did it right after I graduated. I started one-on-one kick in Louisiana. Been doing that for 7 years. Moved to Nashville 3 years ago. So I've been doing the camps here in Nashville. So we do camp every Sunday. For you kids, first camp's free. If you want to be the best, come train with the best. And, I love the feeling you get when you achieve a kid's dreams, and the feeling a parent comes up to you and they start crying, and that's the best feeling. Sunday, I am the most happiest person in the world after camp.
Yeah.
Give
you a lot of energy, man. Kids brings it out of you.
And, kicking has gotten so competitive, because there's fourth graders I'm training now, kicking.
Right.
I didn't start kicking until junior of high school. And, Tom Dempsey had the longest field goal, 63-yarder for 40 years.
Yeah.
There was no 60-yard kicks. It's just kicking's gotten so competitive. So just like I said, how you get noticed going to these kicking competitions, right? Like Cole's kicking or Chris Saylor kicking. But you still need a coach,
right, to
get you better,
right?
And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help the kid get better. My goal is to achieve his dream, their dream.
Yeah. So how do you train, especially this day and age where everyone can look on social media and compare themselves and I'm better than this person, better than that person. How do you train kids the right mix of confidence and ego? Where that ego doesn't take over, and then you're not connected with your teammates, and then now it's easy to get into that slump. So how do you train that mindset with young kickers? A
lot of kickers, sometimes some of them, are just by themselves,
Yeah.
So I really try to push. So all the kickers I train, I try to go to their high school practices and I try to encourage them, get with their coach, try to encourage them to get more involved with the team.
Right.
You got to build a relationship with the team,
Right. Yeah. Well, as we start to wrap up here, man, I always like to kind of go back on one question that I believe that it's, makes us think. And when you think about your career playing at Alabama, McNeese State, and transitioning out of sports, what do you think those intangibles that you have that's made you who you are that you continue to utilize today?
Work ethic. Nothing's given to you. You wake up to wanting to be a better person than you are yesterday.
Yeah.
1% better.
Yeah.
If you just focus on getting 1% better, that's all you need.
Well, Gunnar, man, this has been an awesome podcast.
It's been awesome.
I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your story. Hopefully someone can take something out of there, especially the mindset of a kicker and someone who wants to do it well. Take some of your lessons and apply it to their life, man. Really appreciate you joining me.
Of course. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, man. And for you kickers and punters, if y'all need help with your mindset or just wanting to learn to get better, follow me. And
where do they follow you at?
Gunnar Raborn or one-on-one kicking Nashville. And I just want to give a thank you to you, Chris, 26 overall pick, first round of the 2005 NFL draft.
I received that. I appreciate that.
Man, I just feel honored to be even sitting in this chair.
I appreciate that.
This means everything to me. So I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Well,
yes, sir. God has a reason for everything.
Absolutely.
You're dang right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.